Hi, my name is Andy Tidy and welcome back to another edition of Canal Hunter. This is a mini-series of Canal Hunter where we are tracking a route of canal that I would love to take, but it's impossible because it's been abandoned. In the last episode of Canal Hunter, I brought my figurative boat up the Hatherton Branch Canal and I brought it as far as Churchbridge. Well, today I want to take us on a bit further. I want to bring the boat up the 13 locks at Churchbridge. Locks which have been lost since about 1951. Now, to follow this route you need to use a bit of imagination, and I'll be flying the drone up the line using a series of waymarks. The points you want to look out for are the roundabout at the bottom of the hill. That's where the bottom lock was. The line of the canal then continues up round the back of Sophology Warehouse, beside the Costa Coffee takeaway site, and then there is the Long Pound, which is now the car park. And then the last flight starts to rise up and it goes round the back of the Sainsbury's petrol filling station. And then you come out here into the wasteland on the top of the hill, the site that was the Rumour Hill Junction is now the Poplars landfill site. Now you'll see along the way with all the old pictures that I insert that this old flight of locks was truly spectacular. But when their end came in about 1951, the whole area was open cast mined. The landscape was completely obliterated, and then when it was all finished, the site was then filled in with overburden and the profile was returned to what you see today. In my flight I will attempt to follow the exact line of the old canal. So if you imagine that there is a crosshairs on your screen, the very centre of the picture will try to follow the line. Now that will be the line. I can't promise that the ground level is anything like it used to be when the locks existed. But I'll show you lots of old photos so you can get an idea of how it used to look. Now, strictly speaking, if I wanted to continue my journey, I would get to Rumour Hill Junction at the top of the hill, and then I would turn right along the Cannock Extension Canal, heading directly for Norton Keynes, and then on to Pelsall Common. But that would be a bit of a shame, because that would miss out the last mile and a half. So for this journey, instead of turning right for Norton Keynes, I'm going to turn left, and we're going to follow the line of the old route all the way through to Hensford Basin. So I really hope you enjoy this drone-led photo stream. If you want to know more about the history of these canals, look at the link below, and there was a history video there. But for the sake of this episode, it's a drone flight along the line of the canal with all the old photos interspersed. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you at the other end. Cheerio. Now, some navigational pointers on the next section out from Rumour Hill Junction and along to Hensford Basin. The waymarks to look out for on this section are: number one, we start off on the top of the Poplars Opencast coal mine and the spoil tips, and we are heading for a position just to the left of a couple of lakes. That takes us to the Rumour Hill Junction and the site of the old Rumour Hill Colliery and its basin. At that point we turn north and we pick up the line of the canal, which is now faithfully mirrored in the road that goes past the McCarthy Glen outlet. That then continues on, and as we go across the various roundabouts, they represent the old bridge crossings, until finally the road veers off to the left and we carry straight on into an industrial estate. And that brings us to the Hensford Basins. As we've come into the basin complex, we've come past the site of the old boatman's missions and the stables, and standing proud at the far end of the basins there was the North Cannock Colliery with its winding gear and its chimneys. The southerly of the two basin arms, that's all been built over these days. But to increase the reach of this canal, which was originally designed to be extended, they built a tramway, and that continued on straight up the hill from the end of the basin. Now, I've gone through the history of this place in a previous video, and the link again is down below. But there is an abiding memory of this site that I'd really like to share with you in closing. About 18 months ago, I was talking to the late Malcolm Brain. He was the man who owned the boatyard at the end of the still navigable Cannock Extension Canal. Malcolm's boatyard was the basis of the final cruise up the Cannock Extension Canal here to Hensford. You'll see it in a lot of the old pictures. And when he and his friends had finished for the night, they all retreated back to Norton Keynes. But what few people realise was that after everybody had gone home, Malcolm got his boat out again, and he decided to take one last lonely trip across the old coalfields. So in the dark he made his slow way all the way out here to Norton Keynes, turned his boat round and made solitary progress through the wasteland of open-cast coal mining around him, with the water lapping at the very towpath edge, and made it back. So the last credits for the very, very final trip by water here to the Hednesford Basin has to go to Malcolm Brain. A huge loss to the boating community. Well, that's it for this episode of Canal Hunter. We have brought my boat, theoretically, up the Hatherton Branch, up the 13 Churchbridge Locks, and then we've turned left and we've come here to pause at Hensford Basin. From here we're going to carry on back to the main line of the canal, and we're going to follow the rest of the Cannock Extension Canal from Rumour Hill Junction all the way through to Norton Keynes, and then back onto the watered section at Pelsall. But anyhow, that's all for the future. For now, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you soon. Cheerio.